Submit spirit before matter. Our celestial humanity arrives, awake in a dream, an inception of our reality. So we live, we love, and then there is music. So we dance, we sing, we pray, we reflect. In the infinite in between, the now that was, faces dance in our dreams. Some familiar, some
Ascended Visions Radio.
Cosmic composition. In the irrelevance of this time, we realize the passion of the random abstraction, learning the lesson that the brotherhood of man is far more important than the ego of any individual. Imagination becomes the sound of thought, traveling at the speed of art. So we paint on the canvas of our ephemeral countenance, a masterpiece of memory that lives in the eternity of a child.
Good evening. Continuing with the theme, Planet Earth, what I've learned so far. This talk, I want to go deep into my knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And I'm going to call this the countenance of my Reformation. And this is something that I put together and that I had from a vision, and then I put some other stuff with it and whatnot. And this is basically what I've learned so far about these individuals. NOI, Moore Science Temple, UNIA, NGE, Nation of Gods and Earth, Nation of Islam, and Red, Black, and Green, Panthers, the Black Power struggle. You know, I've experienced a lot of it and have an understanding. And I'll say it like this. Start off. This is what I want to say. You got to study your own history and learn what you were born into. Study the history of your family and your relatives, training, and all the schools of thought they endeavored. Find out what worked and what didn't, and what worked and didn't, and what works and doesn't work for you. Gather black facts, right and exact. Don't depend on children to teach you your adult history. And in the seemingly darkest spaces where you find the brightest sparks of light. You know, a day is 1,000 years as you count to God, you know. So that's what it says in the scriptures, and you can interpret that how you want. But basically, all I'm saying is get into stuff to learn for yourself. Don't just go on face value, because as I look through the internet, you know, they bashing the hell out of all the black leaders, man. And I know it's a bunch of lies, because they talking against this world. That's why they beating up on them and say they did this and did that. You know, some of them may have done some crimes or whatever, but I don't know that for sure. You got to get the facts. They say, oh, so-and-so is this and so-and-so is that, and they locked them up. The ones that get locked up for the longest, you got to really study to see what they was talking about. to see why they got locked up and what the history was. Everybody, I look at it like this, all these organizations, I believe you should engage in at least something to find out what the struggle is for black folks, For example, I just say Islam, I'm dealing with I, self, Lord, and Master, intelligence, science, laws, and mathematics, intuition, spirituality, love, affirmations, manifestations, and the countenance of the NOI, Noble Drew, he was, you just look at the dates, man, and study the dates and see what was going on around that time. He started the Moorish Science Temple around the 20s. In the 20s, he was born in 1886. That's significant, to study these dates, their birth dates, and when they started. The Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, 1914. And he was born in 1887. He started the UNIA in 1914. Master Farad Muhammad said the devil's world was ended in 1914. That's significant. It's different things that people are teaching that's significant to these dates and these leaders, And Master Farad Muhammad was born in 1877. He started the Nation of Islam in 1930. Really, he raised Elijah, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in 1930. And 1934, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad took over the nation and raised the nation. He was born in 1897. All these dates are real significant and key. Study this time, study the world, and study the times around the dates and of the starts of things and their birth dates and what they were born into. Because everybody, you can't just look at it as, this is just a person that did something. No, man. If everybody beats great odds to get here. Billions to 1 to get here. And when they get here, life's purpose is to live a life full of purpose. So you can't just look at it like, that's just so-and-so, that's just so-and-so. You gotta look at why the Creator brought these people into existence, what he brought them into existence for. And people have, Clarence 13X, he started the NGE in 1964. He was born in 1928. Broke off from the nation, different things like that. There's a lot of people that went off and did a lot of things and whatnot. That's a lesson out the Bible where the people was given, the guys were given different talents, and to see what they did with them when they went out and sowed their seed. And, some of them sowed a good seed, some of them didn't, but it's all about studying the roots of the history. And you can't depend on the media or the mainstream or the white man or whatever to tell the story. Only way you can go and get the story is if you go and experience it yourself. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. But the thing of it is, don't say nothing against it if you haven't studied it, And I believe all these brothers and leaders are great and noble and honorable, regardless to their humanities, because they brought us a long way. No telling where we would have been if we didn't have all of them. Yeah, people say, well, we in bad shape right now. Yeah, we in bad shape, but just think about what shape we would have been if we never had them. You know what I'm saying? Just think of what shape we would have been. We need to quit killing each other. Yeah, you say, well, the nation teach hate. Nation don't teach hate. They taught a lesson to counter indoctrination. You know, we've been indoctrinated for 400 years that we was niggas and coons and spooks and Negroes and all this, and hated in the most heinous treatment of anybody on the planet for 400 years. And then somebody come and say, put a label on that treatment and say they was devils. It's like, now the people that's living today, that's descendants of them, yeah, they not that. You know, some of them, they not that, but their ancestors had a treacherous record, you know, of what they did to us. And the only reason why they hating on these leaders now, and you know, I notice how all the living leaders, they beating up on them and whatnot, but all the ones that passed away, they trying to smooth them over and make them into the mainstream that they wanted. But they wasn't for this world. They was against this world, because this world was against us. You know, and I look at it like this. People have their issues. We got issues as black folks right now that we ain't got time to deal with nobody else but us. You know, yeah, people, white folks did this, do that, and they still do stuff to us. But that's how they are. They did it for 400 years. They've been doing it for 6,000 years. Look at the last 6,000 years, what they've been doing to the planet. That's not to say that people can't be good and do good and be taught to do good. It's just a matter of, you know how your children are. You got some badass kids. We just got some badass kids for 6 days. You know, they was bad for 6 days. Now it's time to teach everybody how to act right. And this and all these teachings from these ciphers is how everybody will be able to be healed. You know, and if you study the history, you know, from the source, don't look it up on Google and try to see what they're gonna say, because you don't know who wrote that stuff. Go to the source and find out the history for yourself. Don't be afraid. Ain't nobody gonna haunt you or beat you or nothing like that, or scare you or force you to do nothing, or force you to join them. You just go get information, like going to the library, man. You go to the library and study the different things that each one taught, and take what you can use and discard what you don't like or whatever. But whatever you don't like, you gotta have a reason, legitimate reason why you don't like it, that's valid. You know, because I haven't seen all the people. I've had friends from all of these walks of life, Moabites, Garveyites, Muslims, gods and earths, you know, and all of them that I've experienced have been noble and righteous. You know, people say, well, they do this and they do that. Everybody in humanity has faults and has human faults. But for the most part, they some of the most righteous people I know. And I'm including Christians and everybody else. The people that's striving to be righteous, they are some of the most kindest and compassionate people on the planet. And that's what's holding this planet together. Because when you get beat down or somebody do something to you, who gonna come to your aid? You know who coming to your aid. It's always gonna be somebody, your brother, Minister Farrakhan, one of the black leaders or something like that. But for the most part, these days, Minister Farrakhan come to the aid of everybody. You know, and everybody need a little truth, love, and compassion. Truth, you get truth, it might hurt a little bit. Because you like, man, he telling the truth. You know, if your butt hanging out and you say, man, you need to pull your pants up. You might not want to pull them up or whatever, but you get embarrassed because he did it in front of a bunch of people and he an elder or she an elder or whatever. But you know they telling you right. You know, and as young people, we gotta learn how to respect the elders, and all of these organizations have structure. And just like the military, this is like the black military and the black institutions for black folks, because we have to learn a different kind of way. We have to learn a different kind of way because we were psychologically traumatized and spiritually traumatized for 400 years. You know, so it takes a different kind of medicine and surgery and psychotherapy and consciousness to raise you up into another kind of way of thinking, just to get back to being a family. You know, where you can live in your house and everybody play their role the right way, and you live happy and enjoy life, because everybody got to do the same thing. You're going to eat, sleep, make babies, drink, go to the bathroom. Then if you travel somewhere, you got to do the same thing. Travel somewhere, visit places, different scenery, whatnot. It's the same thing. So when people go different places, you get mad. Somebody stepped on your shoe. You want to kill them for it and all this. Where does that come from? Who taught you to love yourself less than you need to? Who taught you all that? Think about this stuff. You got to think about who taught you to have these tempers and egos and all this stuff. Where did you get it from? You could have just been watching a bunch of angry movies or something. The next thing you know, somebody do something to you and you like, man, I'm going to break his neck. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I had to catch myself with my attitude sometimes when I get mad, you know, because, you know, all this stuff that we have absorbed over the years, and then when somebody cross your path the wrong way, you want to destroy him, you know. And I had to check myself about that. And sometimes it might take me a long while to recover. But this is the kind of, the psychodynamic infrastructure of healing is a complex thing. And you can't just take it lightly and say, oh, that they just a cult and they just this, they just that. Everything is here for a reason. And you have to decipher it, not beyond what the mainstream media tells you. Because the mainstream media and all these things, they not trying to help nobody. They might try to expose to take the light off of them so nobody can see what they doing. But I'm telling you, ain't nobody this world ain't really trying to reform nobody. It's the new world that's going to reform and bring peace. Not the old world. The old world is war and turmoil and chaos and hatred and burn, rape, loot, pillage. That's what the old world is. We done with that. You know? We done with that. And so I'm not going to get into the dogma or the teachings of what they all believe in. I'll say this though. You know, people say the nation, they believe that God came in a man and he was Allah. And then, yeah, but, you know, other people believe God came and impregnated a woman. And he became a man and grew up and became God and ascended back to heaven. Look, God can do anything. God can do anything, and I believe that. There's a lot of stories in the world, in religion and whatnot. Wherever you go, it's all similarities. All of it comes from African spirituality, you know, and before that, you know, it was the history of the scientists and whatnot. So, you know, you got the scientists, you got Jesus, you got Muhammad, you got Buddha, you got Abraham, you got God, you got Allah, you got man, you got woman, you got the patriarchy, the matriarchy, You got African spirituality. All these things you need to study. You need to be studying all this stuff, something every day. You can take that schedule that I wrote out and make your own schedule on what you need to study, to learn, study to show and prove. You know, people say, oh, the nation teach, they hate white people. Now, look, man, like I said, that was to counter a psychological ailment. You know, true or not, it was to counter a psychological ailment. Black man is God, white man is the devil. It's the truth, but if we gone away from that particular dogma as far as just sticking with that. That's baby language. Now it's self-improvement, the basic for community development. Because ain't nobody running up in your house, in your neighborhood, shooting you up but you. You know, they control policies and laws and stuff that get you caught up once you kill and shoot one another. Then they lock you up forever and make you a slave and everything. That's the one thing they set you up for. But, you know, the only way we can get around any of this stuff, whether we being hated on by anybody, whether it be white folks, Arabs, Asians, or whoever, Mexicans, whoever we got conflicts with, the only way we going to solve the conflict is when we show love for ourselves. When we show love and unity for ourselves, everybody will leave us alone because they'll say, hey, they got some sense. And they'll know it's a price to pay if you mess with one of us. That's what we got to come to unity on. We can't think about everybody else and we still shooting and killing one another. We got to stop killing each other. You know, the minister been preaching for eons, man. You can go to any one of his lectures and pull it up on the internet or on NOI.org or any of the ministers or the NGE, North Science. Somebody gonna teach you something that's gonna better your life. All of this stuff is gonna teach you something to better your life. Whether you go to church, the mosque, synagogue, temple, you know, wherever you go, there's something out there to teach you to live a better life. What you got to do is study to show yourself approved. A workman needed not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. The way you got to rightly divide the word of truth, because there's a lot of falsehood out there that's mixed in with the truth, you know. And so to rightly divide it so you can know what's good for you. If it causes you grief and pain, it ain't work. It ain't right. But if it causes you grief and pain like a cold, and you clearing that out, and you get a virus, and you take the medicine, and you coughing and spitting up the poison, then you need that. You need something to get rid of the toxins. You need that kind of stuff. You know. I was raised a Christian, and I'll stick to the values of everything I've learned over life. Because everybody has a jewel and a gem that you can apply and practically apply in your life to make you a better person. Kindness, compassionate, loving, truthful, honest, fearless. You know? All these things, characteristics, you know, is a myriad of lessons in the Bible, a myriad of lessons in the Quran, a myriad of lessons in the Bhagavad Gita, a myriad of lessons in the Keeping the Gods, a myriad of lessons in all the holy scriptures that's out there to guide everybody. And I'm, saying, oh, yeah, polytheist. No, I ain't no polytheist. I serve one God. And my one God know something about all of it. You know what I'm saying? I know something about all of it. All the parts that go together, I know where they go. I ain't trying to get no followers and get recruits and get money and all. I don't worship money. I don't worship no dead presidents. I worship God. And God supplies all my needs. Peace of mind is what's important. You don't need to have riches to have peace of mind and enjoy life. Yeah, it helps, but look at all the people that's got riches now. Look how they acting a fool right now. Clowning each other. Fighting with each other. I don't want that. Not all of them are doing that. I'm not saying that. Not all of them are doing that, but a great deal of them that's in the limelight that people are made famous. I ain't trying to be famous. I'm just trying to put a word out here to say, hey, this is what I learned. You know, this is what I learned. And so all I got to say is study the black leadership. Study the black organizations. Whether you deal with the fraternities, the Masons, the Nation of Islam, the Moorish Science Temple, the UNIA, the Panthers. Study something and get in where you fit in, man. Because, you know, there's always something to be done. We gotta raise these babies, man. These babies they out their mind right now. Cause they don't know what they're like. There's so much craziness out here. It's like this kind of stuff will give them the guidance. The structure you need is a man and a woman raising a family so that they can be successful, teaching their children to be successful in life. Whether you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, a policeman, a fireman, a politician, any of these things. Plus, you know, what about the water department? When the guy gets too old to run the water department, who teaching the children to run the water department? Who teaching the children to run the fire department? Who teaching the children to be a nurse or a doctor to go run the hospital? Who teaching the children to learn how to run a school, to raise more children, to raise more people? The cycle not gonna end. There's gonna be more people being born. So we need all these practical things, you know. You know, y'all get caught up or I'll say y'all, I said we get caught up in people, what somebody say and how they said it, and who they, you know, oh, he can't say that, they ain't gonna, come on, man. Just listen. If you just listen for understanding, you'll get the big picture. You know, you don't have to go to any of these places. Everybody got something online now from the source. Not everything online about these people is true, but a lot of things are. If you, I know one thing. You listen to Minister Farrakhan, you can hear it straight from him. Hear what he got to say, and judge for yourself. You ain't got to go to the mosque. You ain't got to go to the temple. You can listen right. There's so much information out there now. You can study it on your own and decipher whether or not it's true for you or works for you or not. But one thing about humanity, we got to stop killing and murdering each other and setting each other up and going at each other's throat and all this. You know, it's just ridiculous. You know, white supremacy is an illness. And there is no such thing as black supremacy. Before there was anything, there was the black man. Everything originates in black thought. Everything. That ain't no supremacist attitude. That's just a fact. You know? So, I'm just, it's frustrating these days because, you know, and it's a lot of stuff I don't know, like trying to figure out where the hell these voices be coming from that be talking in the walls and shit, threatening me, talking about we gonna get you, we gonna kill you, and all this shit, talking about you should kill yourself, and you'll be famous and everybody will know you. I'm like, man, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Allah, Buddha, Muhammad, all of them. I rebuke you in all the names of them. I'm not going for that. You know? But all I want is for people to love one another. Care for your family. I see so many people out here homeless, out in the street. Find your relatives, man. If you ain't seen your relative, go out there and find your relatives and take care of them. I'm fortunate that I got good caring relatives, because if I didn't and I didn't follow the regimen of what I needed to be healthy, I'd be out there on the ziggity boom talking to the stars and stuff. But find your relatives. And if you got relatives and family, learn how to get along. Quit fighting your family. Learn how to get along. And for my family that has problems with me, get over it. I ain't going nowhere till I'm gone. If you don't like me, fine. I love you still. That's fine. But some of y'all I don't even mess with, because the way you deal with things or whatever, what have you. But you can call me and I will talk to you. But if you call me with some mess, I ain't got nothing to say to you. Ain't nobody perfect. Everybody got flaws. Everybody done something they don't want nobody to know. I don't care if you know about what stuff that happened to me and what happened in my life. I could care less. That was in divine order. It was a lesson to be learned. I learned the lesson. I got over it. I'm still here. I'm not dead. If you want to kill me, bring it on. If you feel that strongly about it. But you got to learn how to get over stuff. I'm still trying to get over stuff myself. Everybody got to get over their own mess of what they dealing with. Every family is dealing with trauma and post-traumatic stress and post-traumatic slave syndrome. Post-traumatic employment syndrome recovery. It's a lot of stuff that's going on. Wars. I mean, it's all in the scriptures and everything, whatnot. You know, the weather crazy, this and that and that. That's because we crazy. If you're in tune with the planet will come into balance. The universe will come into balance of man being in tune with the universe. You know? It's a lot of lies that's been told for eons about this and that and other. People didn't know about this. But it's a lot of stuff being revealed as well. About the truth of what happened and what's going on, what went on. If somebody in your family went down the path and you say, well, they wasn't raised like that, why did they go so and so and such? Study that. Find out why they went that way. It's a lesson in that. You know? It's a lesson in that. Love your families. Get along with your families. Get along with your mates. We got to stop this vicious cycle. We got to stop this vicious cycle. Yeah. We got to stop the vicious cycle. And basically, you know, things I've said, I'm not claiming that I know everything or I know what the root of this is and root of that is. All I know is what I'm sharing about my experiences, and my experiences are not complete. And you have to find out stuff for you, for yourself. I believe any of the organizations that you join some kind of organization. I don't care if it's a glee club or something. Get something to put some structure in your life, in your children's life, your wife, you as a man. Join something to give you some structure and some focus. Because if you just out here doing whatever and partying or whatever, you'll find out time will fly by and you'll be like, what the hell did I do with my life? I can't say that I regret anything in my life. All I can say is I made some decisions and I got some results. Now, whether those results are good or bad, that was still all my fault. And if you do something like that to don't blame nobody but yourself for wherever you are, you good to go. And all I can say, I'm not teaching nobody to hate nobody about nothing. All I can say is like that, if you work on yourself and improve yourself and treat other people the way you want to be treated, and that's what I learned. If you treat other people the way you want to be treated, you'll be cool. Everything will be cool. But sometimes other people are jealous and envious, and they'll hate on you. You're going to have some haters. And let your haters be your motivators. The more they hate, the more you love. But I know some people you just don't want to deal nothing with them. Even if they spark hate in you, don't deal with them because they sparking the wrong stuff. Don't deal with them. I ain't never hated nobody. I got one person that I ran into in my life in 55 years that I ran into. This brother, he just irked my nerve. He's a trigger for me. He's a trigger. I ain't never had nobody like that in my life. This brother's a trigger. And I know why, because something in his personal history goes back to something that happened to me. And then when I think about it, when I found out about it, I thought about it and know why he picking with me all the time and always causing conflict with me and controversy and all this stuff at work. I'm like, you know what? I know what it is. Once I deciphered that, I just act like he don't exist anymore. That's just a flat out fact right there. Don't talk to him, don't speak to him, nothing. I ain't trying to do it. Just leave it like that. Act like they don't exist. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. And that's exactly what he did, because I know he got demons in him. But anything that you going through, anything that I've been through, I always know I can call on the Lord to get me out of it. If you study Job in the Bible, you'll have an understanding of what you be going through and what everybody be going through. As long as you don't curse God, He's going to always be there for you. Whether you believe He in you or outside of you or whatever you believe, He really in you. He's in each and every one of us. That's the breath we breathe. That's the heartbeat that beats. That's the mind that thinks. It's infinite. It only gets frazzled when you listen to that doubt and evil talk and hell speech that's trying to persuade you out of being on the right path because he's jealous of your birthright. That's what it is. It's just a negative polarity. A wire is crossing. If your mind's in balance, you don't have to. If it's in balance, you don't have to worry about dealing with all that stuff. And if it gets out of balance, just go in and scream somewhere and call out to God, and it'll come back into balance. Tell the devil, get thee behind me. Rebuke him in the name of Jesus or whoever you believe in. God knows your mind and your heart and your spirit. He knows who you calling on. I don't know. That's all I can say is keep your heart and mind stayed on the Lord. No matter what you're going through. You know what I'm saying? That's what you gotta do. Stay focused on you and the Creator. Stay focused on you and the Creator. Stay prayed up. Pray without ceasing at all times. And you'll get through whatever you're going through. Now, the countenance of my Reformation, you might say, well, he don't have his father in there. Some things are hidden. You don't know God. Nobody knows. He comes to you in the form of your parents initially to guide you through life up to a point. And then when they leave, you have something to focus on beyond what you had. So you don't have to be nothing spooky. You be like, well, hey, that's just my mama. That's my daddy. Yeah. God, like I said, God could do anything. He come in the person of your parents, come in the person of your child, come in the person of you. And he's in your person. You just got to listen to what he got to say. What she got to say. That's what I'm saying. That's what I learned. And I'm still learning. I still believe I'm only half right now because I don't have my other half. But we'll see how it turns out. If I'm around another 55 years, we'll have another talk. But for now, this is what I learned so far.